Friends, gather round because we need to talk about education. It's a topic that affects every single one of us, whether we have kids in school or not, specifically the potential lack thereof. Imagine a world where schools are empty and the doors are permanently closed. Donald Trump, in his infinite wisdom, has once again proposed shutting down the Department of Education. This isn't just a fleeting thought, it's a serious proposal. Yes, you heard that right. The very idea sounds shocking, almost unbelievable, but it's real. The department responsible for ensuring quality education for all? Gone. Imagine the chaos and confusion that would ensue. Now you might be thinking, didn't he try this before? And you'd be right. This isn't a new idea for him. This isn't Trump's first rodeo with this particular bucking bronco. He's been on this mission for years. He's been promising to dismantle the Department of Education since his 2016 campaign. Why? What's the end game here? Well, the answer, as with most things Trump, is a heady cocktail of misinformation, political posturing, and a dash of good old-fashioned budget slashing. It's a mix that leaves many of us scratching our heads. This time, the stakes are even higher. We're not just talking about numbers on a spreadsheet. The pandemic has already wreaked havoc on our education system. Schools have been struggling to adapt to new norms. Teachers are overworked, underpaid, and leaving the profession in droves. The burnout rate is alarming. Students are struggling to catch up after years of disruption. The learning gaps are widening and the pressure is mounting. And now, Trump wants to add fuel to the fire by completely defunding the very agency tasked with supporting them. It's a move that could have devastating consequences. This isn't just about budgets, folks. This is about ideology. It's about a fundamental shift in how we view education in this country. It's about dismantling a system that, while imperfect, strives to provide equal opportunities for all children, regardless of their zip code. It's about fairness and equity. This is about taking a sledgehammer to the very foundation of our democracy. Education is the bedrock upon which our future is built. Buckle up, buttercups, because it's about to get bumpy. The road ahead is uncertain, and we need to be prepared for the twists and turns. Before we delve into the potential fallout of Trump's plan, let's take a quick history lesson, shall we? Understanding the past is crucial to comprehending the present and anticipating the future. The Department of Education is actually a relatively new addition to the federal bureaucracy. Despite its recent inception, its impact has been profound and far-reaching. It was established in 1979 by President Jimmy Carter, much to the chagrin of many conservatives who believed education should be left solely to the states. This move was seen as a significant shift in the federal government's role in education. The department's creation was a landmark moment in American history. It marked the beginning of a new era, where the federal government took a more active role in ensuring educational standards and equity. It signaled a commitment to ensuring that all children, regardless of their background, had access to a quality education. This was a significant step towards inclusivity and equal opportunity in the American education system. It also ushered in an era of federal oversight and accountability, with the department tasked with enforcing civil rights laws and ensuring equitable funding for schools. This oversight was crucial in addressing disparities and promoting fairness. Now, has the department been perfect? Of course not. No government agency is. There have been challenges and criticisms, but its role in shaping education policy cannot be understated. But it has played a vital role in expanding access to education for millions of Americans, particularly those from marginalized communities. This expansion has been instrumental in leveling the playing field. It has also been instrumental in promoting innovation and best practices in teaching and learning. The department has supported initiatives that encourage the use of technology and modern teaching methods. Trump's proposal to dismantle the department represents a fundamental rejection of this progress. It threatens to undo decades of advancements and improvements in the education sector. It's a step backwards, a return to a time when education was more about privilege than opportunity. This regression could widen the gap between the privileged and the underprivileged. And that, my friends, is a dangerous path to tread. We must be vigilant and proactive in protecting the progress we've made in ensuring equitable education for all. So what happens if Trump actually succeeds in shutting down the Department of Education? Well, the immediate impact would be nothing short of chaos. Imagine, if you will, millions of teachers, administrators, and students suddenly left in limbo, unsure of where to turn for guidance or support. Federal funding for schools would grind to a halt, leaving states scrambling to fill the gap. This would likely exacerbate existing inequalities, as wealthier states would be better positioned to weather the storm, while poorer states would be forced to make drastic cuts to education. The department's role in enforcing civil rights laws would also disappear overnight, leaving vulnerable students at risk of discrimination. Remember those protections for students with disabilities? Gone. Funding for programs designed to support low-income students and students of color? Poof. And let's not forget about the millions of Americans saddled with student loan debt. The Department of Education plays a crucial role in managing federal student loan programs. Shutting it down would create a logistical nightmare for borrowers and lenders alike. In short, the immediate aftermath of Trump's proposal would be a recipe for disaster, a toxic brew of uncertainty, inequality, and chaos. Let's talk money, shall we? Education, as we all know, doesn't come cheap. From textbooks to technology, from teacher salaries to school maintenance, the costs add up quickly, because at the end of the day, education is all about resources. These resources are the backbone of our educational system, ensuring that students have the tools they need to succeed. And right now, those resources are hanging by a thread. Many schools are struggling to provide even the most basic necessities. The Department of Education provides billions of dollars in funding to schools across the country, much of it targeted at supporting disadvantaged students. This funding is crucial for leveling the playing field. Now, Trump and his cronies will tell you that this money would be better spent at the state level. They argue that states know their students' needs best. They'll argue that states are closer to the needs of their students and can therefore allocate resources more effectively. But is that really the case? But here's the thing. States already have primary responsibility for funding education. They collect taxes and decide how to distribute those funds. And guess what? They're failing miserably. Many states have slashed education budgets, leaving schools in dire straits. Years of budget cuts and austerity measures have left many public schools starved for resources. This has led to a decline in the quality of education. Teachers are working multiple jobs just to make ends meet. Classrooms are overcrowded. Textbooks are outdated. The situation is dire. And in many cases, basic supplies like pencils and paper are in short supply. This is unacceptable in a country as wealthy as ours. The federal government, through the Department of Education, plays a vital role in mitigating these inequalities. It steps in where states fall short. It provides a safety net for states struggling to fund their schools and ensures that all students, regardless of their zip code, have access to a basic level of education. This is essential for our nation's future. Shutting down the department would be tantamount to pulling the rug out from under our nation's most vulnerable students. It would exacerbate existing inequalities. It would be a recipe for educational disaster, one that would have far-reaching consequences for generations to come. We must ensure that every child has the opportunity to succeed, no matter where they live. So, here we are, diving into the whirlwind of curriculum chaos. You know, it's one of those things that can feel overwhelming, but let's break it down. First off, imagine trying to juggle multiple subjects, all with different deadlines and expectations. Yeah, it's a lot, but hey, we've all been there, right? Now, think about the different teaching styles you encounter. Some teachers are super engaging, while others, well, not so much. It's a mixed bag, and navigating through it can be quite the challenge. But don't worry, we're here to help you make sense of it all. By the end of this, you'll have a clearer picture of how to manage the chaos and come out on top. So, let's get started. In recent years, there has been a troubling trend of resegregation in some areas. Schools that were once integrated are now, well, becoming more segregated. This raises questions about the effectiveness of past efforts and the current state of equality in education. Are we perhaps taking steps backward instead of moving forward? It's easy to lose track of progress when the metrics we use are inconsistent. Sometimes we see improvement in one area only to find setbacks in another. This inconsistency makes it difficult to measure true progress. How do we ensure that our efforts are not in vain and that we are genuinely moving toward a more equitable society? States hold significant power in shaping educational policies. This decentralized control can lead to vast differences in educational quality and access across the country. While some states make strides in promoting equality, others lag behind. The question is, how do we create a more uniform standard that ensures every child, regardless of where they live, gets an equal opportunity to succeed? As we look across the nation, we see a landscape divided by educational disparities. These divisions often reflect broader societal inequalities. It's clear that education is not just an isolated issue but intertwined with economic, social, and political factors. To address these challenges, we must tackle them from multiple angles, working together to bridge the gaps that divide us.